Hey guys, it's been a long while since my last video. Appreciate that some of you viewers and also my existing clients have reached out to me asking me if everything is okay. I'm perfectly fine. Just took some time out to prioritize some of the clients and stuff lah. So yes, I know I missed out a few projects. Some people are a little bit panicky, like hey, why TT now is not releasing all these. Those that needed my help have already also reached out to me on a personal basis. So I don't see there's much of a problem over here lah. And for those that are new to my channel, since I haven't been posting for a while, then you should slowly find out that my channel isn't the most aesthetically pleasing kind because there's so many YouTubers nowadays talking about projects, talking about the market and all these. So I pretty much definitely know that I'm not the only one out there for sure. But since I'm not impressed by the aesthetics and what's superficial, but I'm more into the pure substance and content, then if you find that you need aesthetics, then I don't think this is the channel for you lah. But unless of course you're here for the looks of it, like if you get what I mean. So anyway, let's not waste time. Let's move into the topic of today, which is Lentor Central Residences. So let's go. This one was sold 93% at the average price of 2002 PSF at launch. For me, initially I was expecting 2,200 plus nearer towards 2,300 plus. So the reason why I feel it was sold out to 93%, it was because it was launched kind of lower than what was expected by most people. I was expecting nearer towards 2003 and then probably more of 70 plus percent sold, but I feel the reason why it went up to 93%, make no doubts about it, I still feel that 93% is really ridiculous given this is quite a big project, 400 plus units. 93% is very impressive. In fact, they say that this one is the one that sold out the most on launch day itself. Therefore, let's take a look at what are some of the factors that results in this. This is Lentor Central Residences. Some of the details that I will just zoom past. Land size is pretty decent. I think it's fine. 477 units. Total car park lots is more than 1-for-1, which is good because nowadays those projects that are within walking distance to MRT, a lot of them they don't go for 1-to-1 car park lot. So this one seems to have 1-to-1, which is quite a good thing. Maintenance charges not on the cheap side anymore. For those people that are still looking at 200 plus per month, unfortunately I don't think this is the case anymore unless you're looking at a mega development. Nowadays we are moving more into the 400 plus. 400 plus is like a norm, which I think is perfectly fine because given how inflation has worked its way into our daily lives, I don't see why this is too expensive. I'm not saying this from a real estate point of view. I'm just looking at things from a general aspect because you look at the food, if you look at everything else, transport, everything has gone up. Definitely maintenance charges, if you're talking about maintaining buildings, all these manpower, everything, wages has also gone up. I don't see why these cannot go up lah. So I think this is perfectly fine. This is the site plan which I shall not be talking about because you guys know that I don't go into all these small little details that actually don't matter as much. No matter how much the fluff they say, the main key thing is you can see that these are the facilities. There are the 50-meter pool and then there are the general, all the other facilities that pretty much the landscaping seems quite okay. I think that's pretty much it. You can have the nicest looking floor plan or site plan. Yeah, for those that hasn't really watched my channel, you know that floor plan is very subjective. Some people may find that this floor plan is very good. Another person can tell me, hey, wow, this floor plan is really bad. I'm like, huh? Like example, just few years back, people frown upon dumbbell layout because they say that, oh, no privacy. Now it's like a highly sought after thing. Now it's like, oh, no dumbbell layout, not good. Now traditional conventional L-shaped layout, this one is not good. Last time it's like the sought after thing, and all this change within just 2 to 3 years. You can see how much the market has shifted. And if you look at the resale market, if you look at some of the figures that has been shown on places like squarefoot.com.sg, then you realize that those floor plan that people say not good, in the end still manage to make money. That's why I don't bother going through the floor plan over here because it's very subjective. Some people may like it. Some people may want, open the door, can see the window. Some people say, for feng shui reason, it shouldn't be like that. But in the end, those good projects, those that enter at the right entry price, they will eventually still manage to make money, even though some people say that their floor plan is very bad, or you made a bad choice buying this. What is most important is you know when exactly and how much do you get in and where exactly and how much do you get out, because profits is how much you buy in, how much you get out. Same goes for stocks, same goes for properties. This is the location itself. All these Lentors, there's so many of them. As you know already, there are still quite some empty plots of land coming up. So this is Lentor Central Residences for you. Argo MRT is the other side, which is not exactly walking distance to Lentor Central Residences, but this thing is coming up because of this huge chunk of residential land. When exactly is government gonna expand to all these, we have no idea yet, but it's gonna be within probably the mid to long term future lah. This is Lentor collection. So far, all these are the ones that has already been launched. Total supply 2954, only left with 100 plus. So you can see that people are already pretty much, for lack of a better word, suckers for this place. And just 4 to 5 years ago, before Lentor Modern was launched, people are saying Lentor is like ulu as hell. Nobody wants to go to Lentor. Wow, say Bullion Park is very bad. Wow, blah blah blah. And now Lentor is like wow, if you don't buy Lentor, wow, is it like this is like the next upcoming thing? So you get where I'm coming from. I find it funny that perception of the market can change so fast. That's why a lot of people may say, hey, this part ulu, that one ulu are not good. In the end, a few years, suddenly it says that, wow, last time you buy, how come you have foresight? Foresight is seeing what people don't see now. But the problem is that when you have foresight, this is where your profits are being locked in. Then this one, Lentor Central Residences, out of the Lentor collection, 3 of them so far. This one, Lentor Hills, Lentor Mansion, and Lentoria are within the 1 km radius of St. Nick's. For those of you who already follow my channel, you know that I'm not too into good schools because I know that there are projects that are in within 1 km of good school. Still they managed to make it. Some of them managed to make it, some of them didn't. There are those that are not within any at all, still managed to make it. And there are those that not within, also they manage to make it. That's why there is a lot of combination of different factors. But for Lentor Central Residences itself, over here, it is generally not within 1 km radius over here. I don't think it will be coming. I think the next latest update is going to be June. So these are the surrounding 1 km supply within this circle over here. And then over here, just within this 1 km, there are already currently 5,000 plus units that are already existing on the market. So you can see that this supply over here is not small at all by any means. Then if you look at this whole chunk of residential land, of course this is not within 1 km of Lentor Central Residences. Around the Lentor vicinity, maybe somewhere around here, there are still some plots are coming, which is the blue one. This one. And if I'm not wrong, this one, Lentor Gardens over here, this is already confirmed list sites. That means that it's going to be already out for tender. And if I'm not wrong, it's this piece over here, right? So 2.1 right? The 2.1, it is lower gross plot ratio than Lentor Central Residences. So expect the height to be lesser. It is a little bit more similar to Lentor Mansion as what we already seen in the market. And this previously, I remember this piece of land, previously it was under the reserve site. Please, if I'm wrong, some of you please comment and let me know lah. From what I remember it was under the reserve site. Then somewhere around October, it was released as a confirmed piece of land and potentially yielding 500 units. And this just one piece is going to be giving another 500 units into the Lentor region. Disregarding these few others that may be upcoming in the very near future. Why? Because if you look at this article over here, why is the government flooding the Lentor region? Because government knows its people well. We know that Singaporeans like that hype, they like that they like the transformation story, they like that fluff, they like that flavor, that fluff and everything. When they see people go, they must go. The crowd, Singaporeans are known we are known for going wherever the crowd is. Although I beg to differ. I'm not that kind. I really don't like to join crowds. I like to go where the crowd isn't. If somebody go in the queue for zi cha or whatever, I will just go and buy cai fan. If somebody go and buy cai fan, I'll go buy zi cha. I will go anywhere else because I don't like to be part of the crowd. But being part of the crowd may be a good and bad thing. And sometimes crowd mentality may not always be right. You need to be very clear what exactly you're doing, especially in this market where everything is very hot. You have to be extra careful because in the, like example, stock bull market, people buy into Tesla, all this. Like recently I bought a few pieces, a small amount lah, buy into tech stocks and then crash. I'm like, I've been avoiding for the longest time. Like, never mind, I just play it or throw a little bit. And then crash. So this is what I mean by crowd mentality. Just because everyone goes in doesn't mean that you should be going in. And like I said, or rather say a lot of times in this channel, I'm really not good at stocks. Okay, even though yes, I do make some of them, but generally I don't think. Any case, I don't even think that I'm anywhere past the amateur stage for stocks. So let's stick to just property. I think this is where my tanja is. Like I said, government say this is to cater to housing demand and to maintain market stability, because they don't want people rushing in and then go and jack up the prices in the Lentor area. That's why they are flooding the supply over here. And if any one of you can give me a comparable example of how much supply that has been injected in such a small period of time in any other areas, please let me know, because I think this is the first time ever the government has jacked up that much supply in a single compact area. Later I will show you another example, but definitely not as crazy as this one. So this is, in a way, you're being launched into a guinea pig area, and then we are trying to see how the market actually copes with this. In that case, if you are buying to flip and transact within 3 to 5 years, I think you have to be extra careful of what you're doing over here, because it's not going to be as simple as it is. Then we look at the few that has already been launched. These are the 5 that has already been launched, excluding Lentor Central Residences. Lentor Central around here. Of course, we have to take into account that this one, and if I'm not wrong, this one also, they are all the pre-harmonization era. For those of you who have difficulty trying to understand, please go to other videos or my other videos that talk about it, because I don't think we want to spend time again on that. But Lentor mentioned it was the first one. If I'm not wrong, it's the first GLS land plot that was unsubjected to the post-harmonization rules. And then even then, it is still below this. That's why you can see these guys, and even these guys over here, and even this blue one, they are all pre-harmonization. And then the post-harmonization one is lower than you. Then unfortunately, I think this is where it's a little bit scary in that sense lah. And I'm not even saying that this one is low, but Lentor Central, I feel that part of the reason why it sold out well was because that, being a post-harmonization, some of them still selling as low as 1,900 plus. I think 1,900 plus, 2,000 plus, you are still safe lah, because after all, I mean 2,000 something, not too generally 2,000 plus, 2,000 something and 1,009, a little bit hard to go wrong, because you are talking about post harmonization, supposedly a better use of space, and you're still getting at that PSL compared to these guys that are pre-harmonization and getting as high as 2,500 plus. Because just now earlier we look at this article, the highest was 2,500 plus PSF. Then now we look back over here, as high as 2,500. Of course, I feel the guy that went in at 2,500, either you are really a super duper ultra fan of Lentor, or you're just being hard sell by your crazy damn bloody good agent. Either he's really good or he has no conscience. How are you going to get out 2,500 plus exit with profits? Or even, we don't even talk about profits, we are talking about breaking even all your costs and everything. How are you going to get out with at 2005? Come on, you need to be selling 2008. Unfortunately, I don't see how this won't work out lah, unfortunately. And this is the break-even prices for all this. You can see over the years, Lentor model, this was the first one, followed by this one, followed by this one, followed by this, and then this, and then upcoming there's going to be another one. Supposedly land price, how land appreciate is that your upcoming neighbors are the one that are selling more expensive. But you can see that even with post harmonization, the break even is actually cheaper. The first one, okay, this one is cheaper, this one is a little bit more expensive, then still about the same. Then this one post harmonization is cheaper, and then this one is almost the same. If you look at 2,200 plus PSF, this equates to a profit margin by the developer around 23% profit margin. This is very healthy in today's market for the developer, not for the buyer. You need to recognize today, in this climate, today, is this a buyer's market or is this a seller's market? Why? Because if you look at these few articles recently, Emerald Katong, Ori, Bagnall, Nova Grove, Kingsford, how many are sold? This is like a back to maybe end of 2021, 2022, the era where there's a lot of hype on the brand new projects. Why? Because there's a lot of demand on the buyer side. When there's a lot of demand on the buyer side, does the buyer or the seller have the advantage? Which one has the upper hand? The one that has the upper hand will be the seller, which is developer. And in this case, will they be able to command higher profit margins? So if you're willing to pay for that profit margin for that seller, which in this case will be the developer, then you have to realize also that the bigger the margin, the one that eats the cake more, is it the developer or is it you trying to exit in the future? That's something you got to think about. The next one we have for an example is at Bedok Reservoir. Previously, the Waterfront series, TOP, you can see over here 2011, 2012, 1415. And then you can see that the land was sold very close to each other. In fact, this one was sold on the same day, so on the same day. Government wanted the same thing. They wanted to, in a way, stabilize the market. And then you look at the effects of what happened, how many years it has been stagnating until the post-COVID era. Then it suddenly surged up. This hero over here went all the way up thinking that this surge is going to continue. But unfortunately, this is not exactly the case. And that is the risk that you have to take by being the hero and not knowing how to hedge a risk when it comes to such a multi-million-dollar purchase. Let's continue the article a little bit on Lentor Central Residences. Total, all these 6 projects, units has been launched, and then best selling for Lentor Central Residences, like I mentioned earlier. Previously, the one that was best selling supposedly was Lentor Modern, which was the first one, 84% sold on the launch week. And even if you take out Orel at Tampines, there were already projected to exceed 3,200 units for this quarter alone. This current quarter, the first quarter of 2025, which is close to last quarter's crazy units, because there were so many big projects like Champa, Emerald Katong, and also Nava Grove all being launched together, and then all of them were selling at high percentage. This is also the highest first quarter sales since 2021, and that means it's like the first time in 4 years it even hit so much sales. Previously, we were thinking, oh, market downturn here and all, but what we are seeing over here is that there is a huge amount of buyer demand that is flooding into the market. The developers, they themselves are struggling to cope with the incoming demand, which in a way gives them the leverage to push up the prices. And that's why Lentor Central Residences, for those that already know, prices went up. If I'm not wrong, correct me, it's either 4 to 5 times. If I'm not wrong, it's 5 times. They went up by 5 times in a single day, because the booking went, I think, until quite late, and then they had the leverage to slowly increase, which in a way benefited the first one. But if you look at the chart, because one thing I don't really like about projects that's sold out too fast, because you don't really have the staging effect. Because why? A lot of times we are buying the new launches, right? You want the developer to stage slowly and then push up the price for you. Because sometimes when you clear the project too fast, the valuation cannot match. Because if let's say you sell out 100% already, 2 to 3 years later, TOP, you try to sell, then the bankers have a tough time trying to match unless there's some hero that first thing comes out. Yes, if it's a really good development, eventually it will come, but if you want to be one of the first to get out, especially if you know that there's going to be a supply glut, then that is going to be an incoming problem for you that you may not have think about. But now that you heard of it, then you have to be careful about it. I think that's pretty much what we have for Lentor Central Residences. I don't have to talk too much about it. We will have some market updates since it's been quite a while since we talk about anything in this channel. First thing will be this land plot by Singhai at Bayshore. Bayshore, you don't know how far it is. So Bayshore, this piece of land was sold, works up to 1388 PSF PPR. And it's not even just one guy that's like going bonkers crazy. There were like 8 of them trying to fight for this piece of land. So what we are seeing over here is that developers know that it is a seller's market right now, and they are trying to get that land to sell. You can see the many developers over here. This is Hong Leong again, and then Sing Lian, and then Hoi Hap, Kingsford, Fraser coming in also. Nowadays you don't really see Fraser that much, but CDL, Sing Holdings, if I'm not wrong, is a UOL subsidiary. And then you can see all the major developments are trying to come in and then get this piece of land. The first and the second were very, very, very close. In fact, less than 1% difference when it comes to the PSF PPR, the final pricing of the land results. What we are seeing over here is that the developers are trying to get this piece of land so hard because they know that nowadays, wow, I launch everything also kena taken. I launch this one also kena taken. Launch that one also kena taken. So let's take advantage of this market and then sell it at a bigger profit margin, and this is where we are actually going to make money. So if you're falling into this kind of trap to chase this and this and this, nowadays is like last time is developers they worry about how many checks they have, then how many percent they are sold. Now it's like, oh, so many checks, the checks are few times the number of units. Developers don't have to worry about not being able to clear the minimum amount. And so if you compare to maybe 2023, that was like a kind of opposite of what we are happening over here. 2023, we have quite some developments. They were selling 20 something percent, and then developers were a little bit worried, 10 plus percent, maybe some even. But then now a lot of them already 80 plus, 90%. So a lot of people think that developer sell so little, not so good. Actually, not really. A lot of them, if you look at the fundamentals, it is if they are sound, eventually it will sell out. And when it sells out, usually they'll move the price, and if they move the price, is actually better for you in the long run rather than a project that actually clears out. Over here, the developers, they are trying to take advantage of this market over here where they can sell out a lot of things almost immediately. Within a few months, they can probably clear out. Like EOK, if I'm not wrong, they already tear out their show flat. I can't remember the date, but I think they already tear down. I haven't go and check it out because there's pretty much nothing much to sell over there already. But that is the kind that, from a developer point of view, they will want that. Because I can channel this amount of funds and then sell the whole chunk and then take this profit along and roll it to the next piece of land, which is exactly how a business should be running. So in that case, for EOK's case, congratulations to Simlay. I think it was a very successful launch with a huge profit margin. That's why they are making a lot of money, and then now they are trying their luck again. Unfortunately, they didn't get it. They are last place. So, unfortunate about that. And if you look at 1388 Bayshore, and then if you look at One Marina Gardens over here that is going to be launched soon, very, very soon. Their price previously, this was like maybe only 1.5 years ago, and these are post harmonization. This is pretty much, you're talking about Bayshore price at Marina Garden price. So this is not cheap by any means at all. But developers are like fighting over it, and these two are already at this price. So this kind of means that this whole chunk, the first 6 this kind of means that actually this land is not overbidded. It's not overbidded in terms of price. It seems that the developers already kind of know that this is roughly the land's worth, and that's why they are rushing in to get in. And now it seems that the market is shifted in such a way that Marina is at the same price as Bayshore. So remember, it's Bayshore. Bayshore, I think, if I'm not wrong, is nearer to Changi than is nearer to Marina, which is supposedly the CBD, supposedly the CCR. But from what I hear, I think one Marina Garden is RCR or something like that. So not that it actually matters. For those of you who really know, if you really look at the market, yeah, some people CCR, yeah, lor. To me, CCR, yeah, it sounds nice lah. If you CCR, but if your CCR is making less money than RCR, okay lor, yeah. You got money to burn, no? That's pretty much I see, lor. I mean, if you want status, you want the CCR, okay lah. For me, I don't really care. I just want to make sure that if I'm buying a property and I'm looking at an investment point of view, then I don't care whether it's OCR, CCR, or RCR. It has to be a R that makes me money. Okay, it can be a ultra OCR. Maybe next time they come out with a term UOCR, ultra outside central region. But that one makes a lot of money. Maybe who knows, Tuas in the future. Then I'll buy it as long whatever is profitable, right? The other one, which is interesting, I remember I was talking about Nava Grove previously, that the 4-bedroom dual keys were ridiculous. It's like, why the hell would somebody want to go and buy a dual key for a 4-bedroom at Nava Grove, this kind of area? And true enough, it didn't sell well at all. I think they only sold one at launch. And we really wonder, or rather for myself lah, at least I can see for myself lah, because it doesn't, I don't know, you ask for a lot of agents point of view to know that this is obviously a screwed up product. And so I'm thinking, will there be a chance that they will actually convert this dual key to something else? And then nowadays, true enough, if I'm not wrong, this news just came out yesterday that they will be reconfiguring this 4-bedroom dual key to a 4-bedroom flexi layout, with an option to convert into a compact 5-bedroom unit some more. So there are quite some YouTubers and even a lot of other agents, you buy dual key, the view is good, that kind of thing. Come on, why, if you are really into investment, if you're really into numbers and you really take time to sit down and do your figures and calculate them the right way, how does it make sense to be a landlord that goes for the highest rental yield? Because you can go for a highest rental yield, but if you buy it at a very high price because it's a dual key, how is that a sound investment? That's why I always see that, you get where I'm coming from, like the crowd mentality. A lot of people, the people say that this one, dual key is good, this one, you can rent out and all. Come on, you don't need that. People that buy here, this area for a 4-bedroom, dual key, they buy here for a 4-bedroom, not dual key. As in, they buy here for a 4-bedroom. Why the hell would they need a dual key for that small little tiny rental yield? Because these are the different kind of demographics, what? That's why this is a failed product, and thankfully they are going to convert this. Finally, somebody make them wake up. But when I saw this news, I just can't help but laugh. Like, I mean, I'm not a developer, but I don't think you don't need somebody to kind of tell you that this is obviously a shit product, right? So, unfortunately, pardon my language, but I really don't think that it was a good product. But yep, I think it's a good decision for them to finally get it over and done with. I have no idea how they're going to explain to that person that actually bought that 4-bedroom dual key so far. But I'll be interested to know. For those of you who know, please PM me and let me know. I will be very interested, just for my curiosity's sake, because I'm a very curious cat. Curiosity may kill me someday, but I really like to know how do they actually explain to the person that, I'm so sorry, last time we sell you this dual key, now we're not going to do this anymore, or are they just going to build that specific one just for him? I don't know, man. This going to be seen. Okay, and then the other one is this is a little bit censored information, but from what I know, that there are some people that are waiting for Enbloc, they are trying for Enbloc, they are hoping for Enbloc, and then supposedly Enbloc is a windfall, but nowadays not necessarily, because I do hear of some other Enblocs that are not exactly very profitable. They sell already, Enbloc already, then they find that they have another problem trying to find a brand new, or they can't even afford the brand new in that same place, because the developer, even though may offer them a bit of discount, but they still cannot afford. So nowadays, Enbloc is not exactly as attractive for many, because developers wouldn't want to be giving a huge chunk of profits, and which eats into their own profits. And that's why the en bloc nowadays is not exactly very attractive. In this case, maybe in that sense, for this particular development, which I shall not show which one is it, there has been a stop order, as it from what I hear yesterday, because there are a lot of residents that are fighting the case. They already went through, but because of internal conflicts, because there are always definitely going to be people who don't approve of that sale, and then they fight all the way, maybe because they are running a loss, and then they complain to the STB, which is Strata's title board, and then now they are going to be appealing to High Court. So it seems like the same old Trump Park drama all over again. That's why when you go for en bloc, for those people who are still hanging out for en bloc, you have to pray that you have cooperative neighbors. If not, it's going to be drama. Not all cases is going to be successful like Trump Park, but you gotta be willing to take the risk and then hope that it's gonna be working out eventually. But if it doesn't work out, then you try to sell your unit, because everyone start giving up on the same hope that it's gonna go en bloc, right? Then they're going to throw out the units into the market, and then they realize that, oh crap, everyone is also trying to sell, and what will happen to the supply? And when the supply goes up, what will happen to the price? And then they realize they cannot sell as high as they could have pre-en bloc. Then this is, and the other thing is that if they cannot sell as high because of the higher supply, sudden influx of supply of people trying very hard to exit, and then the market has already shifted, and then they realize that maybe actually I wanted to en bloc and then sell and then buy this project A, and then which project A has also shift in terms of pricing. So this is where you have to weigh your options. Like, is it really worth to be waiting for that en bloc, given the risk, given the opportunity cost? Because not all en bloc is going to be successful. Yes, if it's going to be successful, it may or may not be highly profitable. You have to weigh what is your pros and cons. It's not going to be as simple as that. So of course, this warrants a lot more discussion in specific case scenarios, but if we look at this, if you are just gunning for en bloc for in general, then you have to be careful that these kind of thing may actually happen. That is all we have for today. It's been a very long video since the last one. Hopefully you find whatever we share here today is useful to you. If it is so, then please help to like, share and subscribe to my channel. And if you do have any inquiries, you need my help in any way or another regarding your purchase or sale, then please let me know. DM me, text me, whichever it is, whatever works. That is all we have, and see you guys. Bye bye.